Alrighty, darlings. So, you should have a pretty good understanding now of kind of what you're aiming after with the first version of your website. So, what we're going to do today is create some content that you can be used for that about me, the bio piece. And the reason we're starting there versus anywhere else is one, you already have a tagline that you can kind of work with. And so, you're going to be able to just kind of pop that onto your the first piece of your website, and you're going to be able to start with that and modify it. But two, I want you to start looking at your desired um, promotion strategy. So in the last module, we talked about promotion strategy, and you were tasked with kind of picking whatever platform you wanted to focus on, plus LinkedIn, for initially getting traffic and starting to create connections, right? So we want to make sure that you have all of the information that you can use to drive traffic from those sites to your website. And so today is really, it's a pretty simple writing exercise. I know sometimes it feels a little overwhelming to brag about ourselves, but I want you to have fun with it. Like, I want you to think about what a badass you are and what you've done in your life and your career, what you've accomplished. You've done a lot of this work already, and I've given you tools for this. If you feel like you're getting stuck, go back and do some of the earlier exercises and get clear on who you are and what you're about, and then just write. And I want you to start with write about a page worth of content that talks about you. You can pretend that somebody said, you're going to be featured in the local paper. Tell us your story in one page or less. You can start it that way, but make sure that when you write it, you use details. So use details like the school that you went to college in and what you actually studied, your favorite things to do, your hobbies, the specific companies and name brands that you have worked at. Those are really powerful, again, for lending expertise. If you don't have that, that's okay. Don't worry. It doesn't mean you're any less of an expert. You've just done it for businesses that are less recognizable. That's okay. But use anything in your arsenal to position yourself as an expert and bolster that, right? Let's see what else. So I want you to start by creating one page, and you can pull in your tagline with that as well and kind of talk about who you are, who you do it for, and why. But it doesn't have to go as much of this. This is really about you. This is creating your professional bio. And once you're done with this full exercise, you're basically going to have snippets of content that you can use all over the web. You can use it on your website. You can use it on LinkedIn. You can modify it and use it on Instagram or Pinterest or wherever it is you decide to focus your time. And so this is all, you're creating a bunch of content right now, and it's actually not even that much, but you're creating content right now that you can reutilize and repurpose over and over and over again. It's going to save you a lot of time in the long run, and it's going to make sure that you're consistent. So remember, back to our branding, and probably every module at this point, I've reminded you that consistency is key when it comes to building your brand. You want somebody, if the first time somebody interacts with you is on Instagram, you want them to still know it's your brand if they go and then see you somewhere else on Twitter, right? And one way you can do that is, make sure you use the same logo or image on all of your profiles. That's a really great way to do it. But you can also do that with content. Make sure that it's very clear and compelling every single time. It's this, you're basically saying the same thing. Now, that said, it doesn't have to be the exact same sentence on every site, and probably it shouldn't. But you want to be getting the same general message and personality across on all platforms, if that makes sense. So write about a page of content. Don't stress out about it, guys. I know we're creative people. I know we like to overthink this, and it needs to be perfect. It does not need to be perfect, because you're going to tweak this every time you place it somewhere. You're going to tweak it as things change and as things become more obvious and apparent, and as you learn more with your client. Like, once you actually have a client, some things are going to become more clear, and you can come back and refer to this. But start with about a page of content, and then 2 or 3 times, I want you to just cut it in half. It's basically how this works. So start big and then cut out all the details, like anything that's superfluous, filler words, descriptive content. It gets really basic and streamlined, like business writing. And then cut it again and cut out supporting details. And it's only the critical stuff until the last piece you'll have is really like a 1 to 2 sentence snippet that you could, throw up on don't throw up. You can pop into your profile on whatever social media. All right. So go with it, have fun. When you're done, get feedback. So if you want to use the 6-figure freelancers group, I would love that. I'm happy to give you feedback, and your classmates are happy to do that. Otherwise, you can send it out to people that you might like to work with in the future. And that can be kind of a promotional strategy on Sly. It's just be like, hey, I'm starting this business, and I just wanted to get your feedback. Like, what do you think about this? Is this something that would resonate with you? Does that sound good to you? That sort of stuff, right? That's a Sly way to start getting interest before you actually launch. Or you could post it on your Facebook and with a poll that's like, hey, would you click if I posted this and then asked you to book a strategy call? Does it sound like somebody you would want to work with? That sort of stuff. But get feedback, because oftentimes things that make really clear sense to us don't always make sense to other people, because we've all got our own input. We all come from different places. So get some feedback. But don't stress, just do it. And remember that by doing this now, you are going to set yourself up in the future to save a lot of time. You're creating kind of a content library. So to that in mind, you might want to do this in Google Docs, or I have a little program called Bear that I sometimes used that syncs across multiple platforms, or Google Keep is another one that does that, where you can access this on multiple platforms. So you can just pull snippets if you're on your phone and you want to update something. Anyway, go to it. Have fun.